Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is Ziggy. You're watching Intuitive, and today's video is going to be especially important if you're someone who's, chasing a dream, chasing a goal, you have a desire, you want to achieve something. This video is for you, so I suggest you stick around because I believe it will be a beneficial video for you. Now, what we're going to be going over specifically is the theme of sacrifice. You often hear if you're on TikTok or Instagram and you see those motivational videos, they say, "Oh, you have to sacrifice. You have to give everything you got. You got to put a lot on the table." But what is sacrifice? Where does this term actually come from, and what does it specifically mean? So this is what I'm going to be covering in this video, so that when it's time for you to make the sacrifice, you have conscious reasoning behind it, and you know what you're sacrificing, you know why you're sacrificing, and you know how to do it. So that is what I'm going to cover in today's video. Now, sacrifice. Where does the term sacrifice come from? Where did it originate? And I believe it came from, at least to my knowledge, it comes from the story of Cain and Abel in the Old Testament. And this is one of my favorite videos in the whole Bible. Well, probably I would say it's my favorite story in the Old Testament, not the whole Bible, but it's my favorite story there. And it's a short story. I believe it's only a couple paragraphs, but it contains a lot of wisdom. Okay, the wisdom is condensedly packed in a few paragraphs. Okay, and it's a story of two brothers who are making sacrifices to God, but one of them gets accepted and one of them gets rejected. Now, if you're sacrificing towards in hopes to achieve your goal, obviously you want your sacrifice to be accepted. You want the things you're laying down, the the compromises you're making, you want it to be fruitful. You want these sacrifices to bear fruit. All right. Now, I don't know what your goal is. I don't know what exactly you're trying to achieve. However, it's universal. So this principle is universal. So it could be directly applicable in whatever you're chasing. So again, Cain and Abel both made sacrifices. Abel's was accepted and Cain's was rejected. Now, why is this? All right, and it's an important distinction. The sacrifice comes down to two elements: intent and quality. So, this is what you have to assess when you are making your sacrifices. See, Cain's sacrifices were rejected by God because he didn't have good intent and the quality of the sacrifices weren't good. Meaning, what he wanted wasn't for a good reason. Why do you want what you want? If you get what you want, what are you going to do with it? Is it for the overall good of humanity, or do you have some nefarious thing that you want to do? So you have to figure out what the intent of your sacrifice is. What is the end goal? And I'd suggest you make it a noble goal, a noble aim, because ultimately it's one of the reasons Cain's was rejected. And so that's intent. Now, quality is the quality of the sacrifice. What are you giving up? Is what you're giving up difficult? Is it kind of easy? Do you know you could be giving up something harder? These are questions you have to ask yourself, okay? Because Abel gave his best, and he gave his best with a clear conscience, with good intent. All right. I forget exactly what they were offering. It was, I believe it was animals from the farm and as well fruit. Needless to say, it doesn't matter what they were offering, it matters the structure of it. So Cain gave his best. He gave everything he could with a clear heart, with a good heart, with clear intent and intention. And Cain was kind of the opposite. He kind of gave something half, that wasn't really too hard. He knows he can do more, and his intentions wasn't there. So that's something you have to assess, okay? I don't know what your goal is, but let's say you want to run a successful business. Okay, well, how bad do you actually want that? What are you willing to give up? Are you still going out on weekends and kind of drinking, and you're watching sports, or because this is an extremely competitive landscape, and if you're not giving your best, there's someone who deserves it more than you, and they are going to win. So you have to determine, what is the quality? What are you giving up? Are you giving up drinking? Are you, again, I don't know exactly what it is you are doing, but I'm laying out the framework so you can assess exactly what you're chasing, and you can start weeding out, okay, if I gave this one thing up, this will be very hard for me to give up. But the reward is there because it's a difficult sacrifice. And you also need to ask yourself, why do I want what I want? What are my reasons? Peel back the onion, peel the layers back, and see why you really want what you want. And it should be for an overall good reason. All right. So, again, to recap, the two most important elements of the term sacrifice, when people say you must sacrifice, what they're really saying is, what are you willing to give up? Is it difficult? Okay, will it please God? And what is your intent? Why do you want what you want? Why do you want what you want? So these are two things you need to ask yourself. And another part of the story is resentment. When Cain's offerings were essentially rejected, he became resentful towards God. He became resentful towards the structure of reality, and he was complaining, oh, why does he get what he wants? It's not fair. I tried hard. And there's an important lesson here, because you may be offering up what you think is your best, and maybe you are actually offering up your best, your best sacrifice, and you're not getting what you want. What you have to understand is that it's not instant, okay? You might think you want something and you're offering up the sacrifices and it's not working, but that will ultimately lead you in another direction. I've experienced this countless times, okay? I think I want something, I start chasing it, it's not really working out, but with the conclusion I come to is, okay, I sit down and I think and I say, I didn't get this, but this gave me another idea. The fact that this is not working out, the fact that I explored this, I weighed the pros and cons. Ultimately, it led me to a new idea, a new, better, more feasible idea. So if it's not working out for you, don't get resentful. It's the worst mentality you can adopt is resentment. Okay, just be proud of yourself that you're trying, and just keep pushing forward. Don't be Cain. Okay, don't scream out to God or to the universe or to whatever you believe in and complain. Just be humble and keep pushing forward, all right? And so I find it fascinating that this is one of the very first stories in the Bible, okay? I think it's literally the second, if not the third story in the Bible. And that is because we humans need to understand that we can have what we want, we can get what we desire, but we have to prove it, okay? It's easy to say what we want, but how are we going to prove to the universe that we actually deserve it? And it's through sacrifice. All right, so it's telling you how you can get what you want. And this is why you always hear in these videos, like I said, the motivational videos, you have to sacrifice, or to get here, you'll hear some athlete, I sacrificed everything to get here. And it's true, they did. People at the top made sacrifices. But it's important you learn how to make the correct sacrifices. Learn from Abel, do not learn from Cain. Do not be resentful. Give everything you can give, okay? Go to bed at night with a heavy head, as they say, and you should go to bed tired, because if you want extraordinary results, you have to operate extraordinarily, all right? It's a given. It's how the structure of our reality is created, how it's built, and it's something you're going to have to accept if you truly want what you want. And you'll find out quickly if, I could say I want $1 million, who wouldn't? But, it's easy for me to say it. How am I going to prove that I want $1 million? And that is through sacrifice, through the correct channels of sacrifice, with good quality sacrifices, and with good intent. I want this for a good reason. So that's my thoughts on sacrifice. If you're someone chasing a goal, chasing a dream, you have a plan, you want to achieve something, keep pushing forward. Bring your best forward, okay? Bring your best forth to God. So when you go to the altar and present your sacrifices, you're walking up to that altar confident that you deserve what you want. And so that's my advice to you. Thank you for watching this video. I hope to see you in the next one. Peace out.